You've seen those crazy challenges online, 24 hours in a haunted house eating the world's spiciest pepper. But nothing compares to what I just attempted. The 48-hour alone in the abandoned Blackwood Asylum challenge. They say no one has ever lasted the full 2 days. And now I know why. Here's how it went down. After researching insane asylums across the country, I found Blackwood Asylum nestled away in the small town of Willow Creek. Built back in 1892, the asylum had its fair share of creepy stories. Rumors circulated that some patients had died under mysterious circumstances, that some experiments had gone too far. It was all just local lore, of course, until I arrived. That's when I noticed the place had been stripped. Barely anything was left except for a few gurneys and scattered medical equipment. That was oddly specific. After a quick tour, I decided to settle in for the night. The rules were simple. Survive 48 hours inside, no leaving, no outside contact. Just me, my camera, and whatever, or whoever, was still inside. It was only when the sun dipped below the horizon that the problems started. At first, it was just creaks and whispers. But then, I heard it. A voice. Not mine. Not my camera. Something was in here with me. As I turned around, shadows danced at the end of the hallway. Blurry shapes seemed to lurk around every corner. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. But being scared is kind of my thing. When the adrenaline hit, I knew I had to do one thing: run. I ran down the hall, past the gurneys and equipment, out the front door, and into the thick forest surrounding the asylum. There was no way someone was following me out there. Right? Right? Safe. Safe. Okay, let's check this place out. Now, since I grew up watching Scooby-Doo, I always assumed ghosts were harmless, just a bunch of wind and chains dragging metal moans. But after hearing that noise, I wasn't so sure. Let's go. And before I could even finish my sentence, I heard it again. This time, closer. Much closer. I froze. Listen. It sounded like footsteps. Heavy footsteps coming right for me. Whoever, or whatever, it was out there was fast. Whatever was out there wanted me dead. And that's when I remembered the rules. I couldn't leave. There was only one place to hide, and that was in the asylum. I turned and practically flew back to the building, and that's when I saw it. Scratched into the side of the building were 2 words: leave or die. What choice did I have? I didn't want to die, obviously, but I also didn't want to spend another minute in that building. I checked the windows. Locked. I pounded on the doors. No answer. I tried the handle. Locked. I was trapped. And whatever was out there was waiting for me. I could feel its eyes boring into me through the walls. I couldn't see it, but I knew it was close. Like really close. I spent the rest of the night barricading myself in a room, moving from spot to spot as each new sound made me jump. Sleep was impossible. I didn't eat or drink either. I was too scared. I just sat there listening to the floorboards creak, the wind rattle the windows, and whatever else was out there hunting me. Then just before sunrise, I heard a crash. I peeked out the window and saw a dark shape lumbering away. Maybe it was gone. Maybe it wasn't interested in me anymore. I waited, but there was silence. Finally, the sun rose, and without thinking twice, I ran for the door. When it opened, I didn't stop running. I didn't stop running until I reached my car. Even then, I didn't breathe easily until I was on the road heading away from the asylum. But that wasn't the end. You see, I had forgotten something important. My phone. I had left my phone inside the building. I told myself I wouldn't need it, but I was wrong. Now, however, the sun was out, so maybe I could just go back and grab it quickly. I mean, how bad could it be in the daylight? As I walked toward the building, I felt exposed and vulnerable. The sun glinted off the windows, making it hard to see inside. But the scariest part was the front door. It was wide open. I hesitated for a moment, but I needed my phone. So I took a deep breath and stepped inside. The main hall was silent. All I could hear was my own breathing and my pounding heart. That's when I saw it. In the middle of the room was my phone. I rushed toward it, ignoring the voice in the back of my head that screamed, "Don't pick it up! Don't pick it up!" But once I grabbed my phone, everything changed. It was as if a switch had been flipped. Suddenly, the air grew heavy. The temperature dropped. The last thing I remembered was a dark shape lunging toward me. And now here I am, sitting in my room watching the footage back, and I'm terrified because there's no shadow, no voice, just me screaming at nothing. Or was it nothing? So here's what I think happened. First off, I want to make it clear I don't believe in ghosts or supernatural stuff. But there are things I can't explain, things I'd rather not try to understand. What I believe happened is this. That night, whatever was in that asylum, it hunted me because it didn't like me being there. Whatever it was, it wanted to protect its space. Whether it was a spirit, an entity, or something else entirely, I don't know. But it was definitely real. I know this because the next day when I went back to grab my phone, that's when I saw it. That's when I saw the monster. And I know some people will say it was just my imagination, but I don't think so. You see, when I posted my video, some of the comments were very interesting. One user mentioned a historical account of Blackwood Asylum, talking about the violent behavior of the patients and the extreme measures taken by the staff. Another user claimed they lived in Willow Creek and said that Blackwood Asylum was closed due to illegal human experiments. But the most interesting comment came from a user who identified himself as a paranormal investigator. He said that according to his research, Blackwood Asylum was built on an ancient burial ground, and that the foundation was cursed. He also mentioned that he had investigated similar cases where the spirits of the dead had become violent. So here's what I think happened. Whatever was in that asylum wasn't just a ghost. It was the combined energy of all the souls trapped beneath the building. The experiments and abuse conducted at the asylum amplified their pain and suffering, turning it into a dark, evil presence. And when I arrived, I unknowingly disturbed that presence. It didn't want me there, and it wanted me to leave. So it chased me away, but I didn't listen. I stayed in the asylum overnight, and that's when it tried to scare me. When I woke up and left, it must have realized I wasn't leaving willingly, so it used my fear against me, trying to trick me into going back. But I didn't take the bait. I thought I was smarter than it, that I had won. But that's when it struck. While I wasn't paying attention, it took my phone. And when I went back to get it, it tried to take me. It wanted me to stay there forever. Whatever was in that asylum, it won. It took my phone and left me with nothing but my memories and this video. I don't want to talk about it much more. It's too scary. All I know is that whatever you do, don't pick up a phone if it's not yours. And if you find yourself in an abandoned asylum, don't stay the night. Because even if you survive the night, you might not come back the same ever again. Now check out, I stayed in a haunted house for 24 hours, or click this other video instead. Don't pick up a phone if it's not yours. And if you find yourself in an abandoned asylum, don't stay the night, because even if you survive the night, you might not come back the same ever again. Now check out, I stayed in a haunted house for 24 hours, or click this other video instead.